Hello guys, here is Level Up session 45. We are here with me, Darek Zabrocki, Jonas De Ro, and our today's special guest is Eddie Bennun. Hello man.
Hey guys.
Hi. Nice to have you man on board with us. Wojtek couldn't join today, or maybe he will join later because he had movie apartment moving, and so let me just the screen is on yours right now, Jonas, right?
Yep. I don't know. I can't see. I'm just.
Yeah.
I do
Okay,
see.
so we can see beautiful works by Eddie. He is art director in Ubisoft Sofia, and he worked on a few Assassin's Creed series. And yeah, it's like amazing job, and we can see a lot of beautiful basics that are included into the very detailed concept arts he's doing. And what we can expect from today's session is something really special for Level Up because we didn't have our director on the session so far. And he is going to give us some insights into the behind the scenes of working for a big company, applying for job in there, and building a very accurate portfolio site with all the requirements that you need to get specified in your work to be a concept artist. So once again, we are very happy to have you on board today. So Eddie, let's just introduce yourself to us, and we can start the session.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say thanks for having me with you guys. I really love what you do with Level Up, so I'm extremely happy to be here. And thanks everyone for coming to the session 45. I really hope it's going to be interesting for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, if I have to introduce myself, maybe yes, one of the usual questions is always how did you start? So I've been drawing since I was a kid. At this time there was no internet, no computers, nothing. We used to read a lot of books, and we simply wanted to know how the amazing universe from the books of the Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury, John Tolkien, and many others was looking like. So we were simply sitting and drawing everything on paper. Now, driven by the same passion, I attended my first drawing courses at the age of, I can't remember, but it was beginning of the secondary school, and I was continue doing this for a few years more, like that. Maybe I'm answering also to one of your questions. Yes, I'm not self-taught. I have some more stuff here to show, maybe later. Yes. Later, I was accepted to study direction for animating movies in the National Academy for Theatre and Movie Arts in Sofia. But it was really tough time. I mean, the economic situation in the country was really, really tough. The education cost a lot of money, and I should find a way to pay for it. Actually, I had two options. One was to make a bank robbery, and the second one was to make my own business. And I'm afraid I took really the wrong decision. I opened my own business. Yes, really. It was, don't laugh now, it was a kind of restaurant, something between art coop restaurant, something like that. And okay, I managed somehow to pay for my education, but instead of studying for 5 years, I extended my education to 10 years because of the business. You know, I was totally busy running between studying and running the business. Finally, I took all of my examination, but I didn't manage to graduate. Do you know why? Meanwhile, they decided to close the specialty. So this was the story of my 10 years of studying. For the next years, I used to. By the way, can you share my screen?
Yes, of course. We were waiting for your sign.
let's see, screen 1.
Yeah, now I can see your face.
Is something okay?
Yep.
No, it wasn't what I wanted to open. Okay.
Yep, it's working. So
Yes, this just find something. Okay, I mean for the next few years, I start working as a 2D animator, newspaper illustrator, book cover illustrator, working from time to time to some bars and kitchens, arranging shelves on the supermarkets, working again for commercials. Actually, yeah, it wasn't something I can choose. And everything I did very traditional way. Let me show some examples. Maybe while I'm talking, it's gonna. It's a finished piece. Everything you see here is a temper on canvas or paper. And for me, this was the way to do the things. This stuff it's around 1995 and 96, so something like 20 years ago.
yep.
Stuff like
Oh,
this.
wow.
Yes.
Some intense stuff there.
Yeah. And for me, that was the way to do the things. Okay, at the time I had already one art book at home. It was the first Jurassic Park art book. This is one. Yeah, it was the first Jurassic Park. It was filled with amazing stuff, but everything was done with classic media. At the beginning of 2000, I got my first computer, and actually, oops, yeah, sorry, but
Nice.
another kind of sci-fi, you know. I got my first computer, and and this was maybe the main shift in my life. I'll tell you why. Suddenly, I was able to browse through the internet more than just sitting in an internet club for 1 hour. And this is the time. Okay, this is the time I discovered, thanks to Ryan Church, Craig Mullins. To say I was in shock was nothing, because I just discovered something very different than the way I believe till now I supposed to do the things. Okay, I attended against this time computer graphic courses. I should to pay for them also. And the same, I had experience working the night, in some kitchens during the night, studying during the day. But you know, guys, the first day when I described thanks to, I was really in shock. I was in the kitchen and I was thinking, okay, outside, everybody from the restaurant guests could be thanks to, for example, enjoying himself, having drinks, talking with pretty girls. And what the fuck I'm doing here in the kitchen? Why? And that was the moment I promised myself to break into the industry and to change my life. Okay, it wasn't easy. I was lucky just a few months in that Game of to open his first studio in Bulgaria. And I sent my cover letter. They sent me test. It was about pixel art. I've never heard about pixel art till this moment. What the fuck was this? Okay, but I was powerful. I had computer and internet at home finally. So I found some information somehow. I passed the test and I started working in Gameloft as a pixel artist.
Do you have maybe some examples of it?
I think I have only one.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see. I personally really love pixel art.
Look, guys. Look this is pixel art, yes, from the same period. Yes.
I can see you studied anatomy very carefully.
Yeah.
About the anatomy. Okay, I can show you something because you mentioned maybe will be interesting for the auditory also. mentioning I had kind of classic education on the subjects.
Nice.
Okay, just few examples I managed to find from my studies. You know, it's a stuff done even, I don't know, somewhere around 1985, 86 even.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean nothing fancy, but you know, the usual stuff.
Comments are lovely.
Yes, the usual stuff. So this is my artistic background actually.
Cool.
Like yes, stuff like this.
Okay.
And okay, so I used to work a little bit as a pixel artist. 8 months later, Ubisoft opened a studio also in Sofia, and I was simply stolen by them. Yes, I was lucky one. In the beginning, we were something like 24 people, and our first project was CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, the game done on the popular TV series. And for the next few years, I was as a texture artist actually, and I did all of the 2D stuff that should be done at the moment. I mean, I didn't start immediately as a concept artist. And that's it. This is about my story. Now I'm on a art director's position at Ubisoft.
So you kind of climbed the ladder within Ubisoft and within the company to get to this art director position.
Yes, it's something you need to deserve, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not only about skills. It's about loyalty, about giving everything you can give yourself. I mean, you just need not to start working something you are not ready to put your heart in.
Right.
Yes, you need to have a passion to this.
And so now, so you've been an art director for the last 3 years, am I correct? Or
Yes, I was art director for 3 years. In that I went back to the senior concept art position for 2 projects like Assassin's Creed Liberation and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And right now I'm again on the art director position for the Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. So this is the first Assassin's Creed that you are directing, right?
The first one, exactly.
The first.
Yes. Yes, but means art directing. It's okay. I'm standing alone on this position, but it's not exactly like that. We have brand art director. This is the mighty Rafael Acosta, of course. And maybe here is the time to mention to thanks all of the art leads for their support. To thanks the assistant art director Kobesek, you know this guy probably from Singapore, and everyone else who supported the art direction during the course of the game. It's a teamwork, yes. Yeah. Like everything in the industry, you have to be team player. And am I still? Sorry, I'm still sharing, and you don't see me, guys.
Yeah, we can still see your screen. Yep. Oh no, we can.
Yes, so maybe we can proceed to the. I've prepared 3 presentations for you today. I really hope I'll answer with them to some of the usual questions that the guys the auditory could have. So maybe we can proceed, and in that I'll be yours for question and answers or whatever comes.
Yeah, just take your time to do your presentation, and then we'll deal with the questions after that.
Yeah. Not to interrupt you during the presentation. So.
Okay, cool.
So basically, guys, Eddie's gonna just give us some pre-prepared presentations about things that we think you should know about the industry. So the session might go a little bit different today, and but yeah, feel free to post your questions in the chat if you have any. But we will probably only pick them up later because maybe a bunch of them will actually be answered anyway. So we'll take care of that near the end of the session instead. All right. So Eddie. go ahead.
Okay, just you see my screen right now or not? Am I sharing?
No, we can see you. So
okay, let me. Just
Yeah, I think that kind of
second token.
that kind of session was very needed for complement the level up program because it's more like doing a demo. It's giving the inside information that no one could provide before. So we are very interested and very grateful to have you with with your presentation for now. So yeah.
okay,
Let's
so
go
your
with
screen
that.
is sharing now, so we can see. Yep.
Yes, just to make it full screen. Okay, now I hope you see my screen, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, at the beginning I would like to speak about the concept artist job, because a lot of people maybe would like to know something more in the details. Recently I was bombarded by questions like what kind of brushes should I use to become concept artist, or how speed should I work to become a concept artist.
Yeah.
And I would like to give a little bit more light on the concept art job itself. It's written here, concept art, this is the front line of the game production. This is where everything starts actually. I mean, from the visual point of the game. First, of course, you need to be artists. Okay. And it's good to become good artists. For becoming good artists, you need to learn, of course, all of the basics: perspective, anatomy, color theory, and so on. But being a concept artist and being a good artist, it's not the same thing as a just artist. You have the great ability to reproduce the real or imaginary world in a different visual ways. You can participate exhibitions, you can make covers for the books and magazine illustrations, portraits, and everything you can perform as an individual.
Yeah.
For becoming good concept artist, you should be a designer. This is the ability to think as a designer. It's a difference. And also, this means a lot of responsibility. Why? Guys, the concept artist bears a huge responsibility about the visual direction for a final product with tens of hundreds of $millions or euros. This is how the modern projects costs.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and not only this, many teams will depend on your work. Many teams, modelers, level designers, texture artists, visual effects artists, everybody. So the whole project will be driven by what you've done. Of course, there is an art director, but actually his position is mostly to recognize the good results. So there is a lot of which is still up on the concept artist to do. And this is why there is no wonder the companies are looking for accomplished professionals with solid experience and proven ability to work on real productions. Of course. Finally, but not at least, what you do should serve as inspiration to the whole entire team, not only for the art departments. You should inspire the developers also, HR department, everybody who is involved in the studio. Okay, let's start speaking about the portfolio, because if you're not an industry veteran, if you're not an industry veteran, your portfolio is the only one who tells about you. So we're going to pay a little bit more attention to it. One of the usual questions is there universal portfolio? I think the answer is here no. In most of the cases, the studios are looking for candidates who match the visual style of their current project.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, if you apply for work in Disney or Pixar, you cannot go with the same thing you are preparing for Activision, let's say.
Yeah.
So this is my first advice to the guys who are looking for a job. As a first step, please check the company's portfolio you're applying for a job to see what kind of game they develop. Just become familiar. Second, find released concept art from the same developers. Look on it carefully. If you think your level matches the studio standards, assemble your portfolio and apply. This is this is a certain moment of truth. So just be honest at this moment. You know, you can never make the same impression 2 times. So better take your time.
Okay.
Okay. Also, students versus soldiers. This is very important point in my opinion also. Remember that the fact a studio is looking for candidates means they need someone to put urgently in the trenches. I mean, if you're a programmer, 3D, visual effects artist, whatever other technical position, you'll be given time to become familiar with the game engine and all of the studio's know-hows. If you are a concept artist, forget.
What do you
So,
mean
I mean,
exactly? Can
it
you?
means exactly you should be professional to start. The studio will expect you to start immediately working on the production.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. For example, if you're a programmer, you'll be given 1 or 2 months to become familiar with the studio technologies. This is but such as like this is not expected for a concept artist. I mean, they're looking for people ready to start immediately. This is what I mean, no students. I mean, it's not realistic to expect you'll be given the chance from the beginning to develop yourself, participate in card courses or so on before to start working on certain productions. Okay, a lot of studios, they have the same programs. We have the same in Ubisoft. But if you apply for a job, you should be ready to start working immediately.
So what if you don't actually have any experience? Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm to just elaborate on what you were previously saying, because I think that's a problem that a lot of people have. Like, okay, yeah, I should be professional and I should be ready to start on a job immediately, but I've never done a job. So how?
Okay, so let's proceed further.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to leave the guys without answering exactly this question because
okay, yeah, I will just shut up then. Sorry.
Come on, it's fantastic. Just please feel free to interrupt me. Whatever questions you have, it's fine.
Okay.
So remember, not just beautiful pictures about the portfolio. I mean, you're not applying for an art exhibition or something like this. You're applying for the job. This is what you need to show, you know. The most important thing the art director will expect to see there is your capacity to understand and follow a certain development process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here we are going to on the subject. If you have been working already for some project, let's see, this is going to be a piece of cake for you. Just put the stuff you've done for the other studios or you've done as a freelance working on some projects, and you are done. But if you are a newbie looking for his first job as a concept artist, you need to overcome the lack of experience. This is exactly the this is the point. How you can do this? Just putting a proper content on your portfolio. And let's say, if you haven't had the chance to work on a certain project, you need to develop your own project. And this is something we are going to talk about the third presentation, how to do exactly this.
Okay.
So let's go a little bit further.
So you're using that then as a sort of a guide, or a way to give yourself a brief so that you can work with the direction and not just randomly draw things.
Yes, exactly. So first, please be unique. I mean, no trends, don't follow, create. 20 to 30, 35 best artworks of you. Really the best one you have. No student stuff, no working projects, no references and mood boards, no film scene studies, no other artist studies. All of these are very cool stuff, and everybody should do such a stuff, but please don't put it in your portfolio.
Yeah, it makes you look very unprofessional.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why you want to apply for concept art position, not showing your rendering style and making more beautiful pictures, but more about the ideas you have.
Exactly, but wow, in most of the cases, nothing left to show, of course, because a lot of guys have just this kind of stuff and nothing more, because they're still to study. Okay, no worries. Just pick up a story and create your own universe. This is what we will see how to do later, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go a little bit more in detail to your portfolio. This is something we should avoid, the randomness. We need to keep more consistency. Look at this piece. What we have here, a cartoon character, a starfighter, a sci-fi one, and a concept for 18th century church. Obviously, these pictures have nothing to do with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it feels like the person is just putting in whatever he has, but there's no consistency or anything like that.
Yes, so we need to keep your stuff organized in thematic in a certain sections like characters, environment, props, illustration, moods, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep consistency. This one looks better and they have much more relative. Here also, and here also. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I really would like to advise you not to show your working process. Could be amazing, but to be honest, at this stage, nobody cares about how do you do the things. If someone would like to see your process, you will be requested to deliver additional stuff.
Yeah.
But however, if you decide to do it, just make it minor. Like you see the process here besides.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it dominant.
Yeah, yes. So keep the final picture most important. So.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because that's actually all you really have to be presenting ultimately.
Yeah.
That's all that you actually have to present to your client or art director ultimately, because they usually don't really care how you created it.
Exactly.
They don't have time to look at that.
And also, the people who are going to review your stuff, they're usually pretty busy. You need to impress them really fast and to make them understand what they're looking for really fast. So better not to put side stuff. This is why it's good to add short description under your work. Something like to describe what they see. I mean, like this is an environment I did for this game, or this sci-fi environment for a personal project, something like this. But please never ever explain your intentions. This is one of the biggest mistake to see. Something like I wanted to achieve. Don't do this. You are here to show what you've achieved already, so let your work speaking instead of you. It is a very important point, because I've gotten not once some guys were sending me something, just a picture with 1,000 words about. Don't do this.
Yeah,
and
so
it's good to avoid explanation like lunch break painting before going to bed drawing. this is very cool stuff, but please doesn't sound.
Where did you
serious.
get those
I think that
pieces?
some of us are already spammers in that point.
No,
Yeah,
it's the fantastic.
but we don't put it in our portfolio though.
Fantastic, but don't put in your portfolio because it sounds not serious to apply with something done for 30 minutes, let's say, or 1 hour. I mean, we like really to see your best work, not to see such as stuff. Okay, just in conclusion, don't follow, create, be realistic about your skills, and be patient. You have only one shot in most of the cases, so better take your time. I mean, if there is an open position and you feel yourself not ready to apply, better wait. And here I would like to give some additional tips, by the way. Once you are done with the portfolio, just send it together with your cover letter. I mean, even there is no open position, just do it. And another important, this is very important. I mean, okay, there is no open position, but in your dream company, but you feel confident in your skills, don't hesitate. Send them your stuff. In most of the cases, the HR team will want the art director or the art leads to have a look, and so they will consider you in the future probably.
Yeah, you get into a list basically.
Yeah, if you are lucky, maybe you get an answer. For example, okay, guy, we don't have a position open right now. But anyway, make familiar yourself because nobody will come to knock on your door, so you need to knock on the other. And another one, very important, there is, according to me, another possible options which I strongly recommend in case of the company is not in a concept artist hunt. Try to get a job for a position which requires strong artistic eye and feeling like a texture artist, level designer, graphic interface artist. I mean, once you are in the industry, the things can happen much faster and easier. At least you'll be able to learn everything directly from the source, not mentioning the priceless daily contacts with other game professionals. But however, don't apply for something you wouldn't like to do. And also, once you are in, you can have everybody really close to you. You can ask for advice. The guys around you, I mean the concept artist, the art director. So this is an option, and for me it's better than working from my bad experience. I'm speaking right now to work in restaurants, in kitchens, and to wait for your start moment. Okay, and just apply. Okay, I think
there's no A in apply, by the way.
Yes. Sorry, needs to check. You know, in Photoshop there is no spell checker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never right to Adobe.
So if you okay. So, would you like to continue speaking about the portfolio or to postpone any possible? Yes.
I think maybe we can, because I think people are asking questions, so maybe we can ask just a couple of questions from the chat related to this before we move on to the next part, so we can.
Sure.
Organized.
So go ahead.
I already see a question by Long Arm. He says, "What if your goals are less ambitious than Ubisoft, say Gameloft, for example?" That's
Could you repeat it again? By the way,
he just asks like, what if my goals are not as ambitious as a big company like Ubisoft, but a smaller company like Gameloft, for example? He's asking if there should be any difference in how you approach this portfolio thing.
Not really. I mean, there is no difference because there are a lot of great artists who works in Gameloft, for example. I mean, it's just your choice to work for mobile devices, strategy games, or AAA titles. I mean, not everybody like to work for AAA titles, and I don't. I mean, it's I don't underestimate what the other studios are looking at all. I mean, also, if you'd like to work for, many people would prefer to work for small indie developers, not for big companies.
Yeah.
And every option has pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
But I really don't think you need to lower the level just because you are applying not for a company making AAA titles, instead of applying for some small indie developer. I mean, you
Yeah.
need
So
to be, yes,
always do the best you can, basically.
exactly, yes. You know, many great artists don't work in big companies.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that well, a lot of them start in big companies because you have this idea about, oh, I want to work on, big movies or big games, so you're very ambitious and you want to start. But actually, a lot of times working in big companies, just in terms of the experience, can be more stressful because there's more people involved and tighter deadlines. And I see a lot of
Yes.
people who actually eventually go back to working on smaller projects with smaller groups just because it's more relaxing in a way to work.
Exactly, exactly. And I have a lot of former teammates. They did the same, by the way, after working something like 8 years in Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and but for most of them, the door is always open back. I mean, you never knows. I mean, you never knows what you're going to do for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it can
Um,
change so quickly as well.
exactly, exactly. But just try to do your best.
Hmm. Okay. There's another question. Chicken JCJ asks, for now in this industry, so is the idea and the design more important than the fine art, or which part is more important? And he says, I mean, should I speed up to bring up the information and detail, or should I
Uh,
spend time for
I'm,
the drawings?
I'm gonna ask directly. The idea is the most important, but if you don't have the tools to prove and show your idea, you can have the greatest idea ever, but it's like you have nothing.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, because
So
I think.
the technical skills are also very important.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, maybe let's say like this: what you produce should be enough readable, should give enough information according to his purpose. You don't need to, because the time when you're in production it's very limited, and we're going to see this exactly in the next presentation, by the way. Um, I mean, there is no always time to polish what you do, so you need to deliver what you do while in production on enough understandable level. I mean, yes.
So basically, it should be like readable, but what is really stand for it is just an idea, not
Yes.
the rendering, because the rendering you can use
No.
for you can be a great renderer, but you can just go for doing illustrations.
Yes, you
But if
do.
something
Yeah.
has some specific functionality or specific idea behind it, you have to come up with ideas to make it working, make it very logical, and that's it. It's not about doing very very detailed one. You can do if you are fast, but
Oh, of course, and will be very appreciated, of course. But
yeah,
everything
because it's
you do,
about the
you do
presentation
with
of your
purpose.
concept.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do with purpose. This is production. I mean, production. This is a teamwork.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, you are not doing stuff. I mean, it's a very wrong approach to think only about the final quality, thinking, okay, I'm doing something to put in the art book or to show it internet later.
Yeah.
You have to combine such somehow the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need to balance it out because actually a lot
Yes,
of
the
times
balance, exactly.
you won't have even the chance to polish everything. I mean, people who see art from professionals who are already in the industry, we put out the best stuff, and people think that's all we do. But we create a lot of work that's not really presentable, but just serves its purpose in the
I
production
think I'm
pipeline.
gonna give some real examples for them in the next presentation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
prepare some. Yes, this is one of the
Yeah.
things I would like to
Yeah, I think we have to grab from you those PDF because these are amazing.
It's
So,
yours.
yeah.
I'm just gonna ask one more question. It's maybe not exactly related, but it's a question that we've never had, so I'd like to know what you think about it. Someone asks, in case you have a foreign or very complicated long name, is it acceptable within the industry to use an alias or, like use another name? What do you think about that? Or is there discrimination?
Well, I'm gonna ask you. You know that our HR department knows more of the artists on the internet by their nicknames. So
Okay.
there is nothing wrong with this.
Okay.
Yes. And also, nobody cares about nationality or where you're from or something like that. Now, usually the biggest company, they're multinational companies. Yeah, that's it. I mean, use whatever name you want. It's okay.
All right. I think we can go farther with the presentation,
The next one.
if you don't mind. And I see that some of the questions are already show up, but we can just go ahead with them further after the second part of presentation. So.
Okay, let's go. So. Okay.
Yeah, so guys in the chat, we will keep an eye on the questions. Sorry that we're not asking all of them, but we will try to pick them up later on.
I think we should focus at
Or
first.
would you like to go back or?
No.
Just go ahead. Yeah.
Because I think you might answer some stuff while during the rest of the presentation, so we'll just keep an eye on the chat and we can ask more questions.
Okay, so we're going to talk about production environment concept art. Yeah, by the way, this is what I'm doing. I'm less character artist than environment concept artist. This is why actually everybody here is given this is off topic what I'm mentioning now, just commenting the name, the title of the presentation. And actually everybody here is given the possibility to do what he feels better to do. I mean, so let's start with this one.
You have to share your screen again, Eddie.
What to?
You have to share your screen again.
Sorry. Let's. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now let's find where's the presentation? Okay. Okay. Do we have it now?
Yep.
Okay.
Very juicy line art picture, by the way.
Actually, yes, this is a typical production one.
Yeah.
By the way. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about production art, reviewed concept art, and some process. Okay, as I mentioned before, as a concept artist, you need to work together with many different teams, and all of them, you see, teams, all of them needs nothing but visual information from you. So, visual information that could be about scale, proportions, layout, distance and depth, materials, white, weather, mood, everything that could be interesting for the rest of the teams. This is something you need to have on my mind. I mean, not to produce all of this, what you see here, listed in a single shot. Maybe you need to do different kind of art to show the layout or proportion or scale or something. But actually, this is what it's everything about doing concept art. And let's see now. Okay, what we have here is a concept art for voodoo huts. And this is something you can put in art book, let's say, this official concept art. But in most of the cases, you sit down and talk about what you do on a series of very rough sketches like this, you see. And once you have a proof design for somebody who may concern, you proceed further. But unfortunately, in most of the cases, there is no time for the team to wait for your final rendering, to do a fine render of some things. So you work simultaneously with the 3D guys, sending them any progress you make. Like you see here, we're working on the same time with the guys.
So it becomes a back and forward, basically, between you and other production artists, instead of just you finishing up something completely and passing it on.
When you work with when you do freelance, when you work with the clients, maybe it's better to give him the final art.
Right.
Unless you have art director instead who knows how to read sketches. This is very important.
Yeah.
Yes, but inside the studio, this is the usual way of doing. Because you can have questions all the time while, from the 3D artist, for example. And you might need to change some things on the real time.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yes.
You're saying that it's very important to keep a discussion going while you're working, so because you'll run into problems or questions that maybe you didn't think of, and if you go straight into the final piece, then you've somehow not been efficient.
Exactly. Actually, the proper communication is the key point.
Yeah.
Yes. If there is no communication,
So
there are a lot of troubles coming from it.
So basically, not to go too far, to have some corrections, in the time that you are doing it, and it's easy to correct because if you are doing if you are made too much, you can just refix all the work that takes much more time that you could do.
I've done this a lot of times, this mistake, and there is nothing more frustrating than a 3D guy approaching to you and saying, okay, this is beautiful, but unfortunately I have nothing to do with it. It's a really
Hello, photo bashers. It's like the worst. Like, oh, that looks awesome, and you start zooming in, it's just all this shit just mushed together, and you're like, what is it?
The design, it's
design, don't just do shit, just design, do it properly.
Yes, this is another approach, very popular, maybe the most popular now. I mean, drawing thumbnails, it's the very usual way for idealization, which helps identifying your future design. But sometimes you design an object that has already some given by the level designers metrics, measurements or something like this, or have just a place to put on the map. And in a case like this, it's better another approach just to make a rough 3D model. But you see all of these lines? This is the real measurements, the metric system here.
Yeah, so you're using a real world scale.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's I love this software because it's for definitely not technical oriented persons like me. It's very easy to use. I'm going to try models, by the way. Such an approach helps you keeping the actual size and proportions while working further on the objects. I mean, when you have the model done, you can choose a camera angle, you can extract line art, you can extract even the shadows. You can use later for your final rendering. Yes, this is the final render of the questioning object.
Nice.
Yeah, so this workflow gives you a lot of flexibility in the production pipeline, before you go into the final, because you can choose different angles or...
Not only, you can invite, for example, the game designers to start rotating the model, to share your opinion with them. Yeah. They can say, for example, Okay, but these stairs, for example, it's not going to work because there is some shelter, remove it, or it's fine, or we need to put stairs over here because for the gameplay it will be hard, or we need to close this space because we don't need the player to get inside. So it's again about the communication. Okay, let's go further. Cool. Here we have another more accurate ideation sketch. You see, used for an establishing shot. This one. Yeah. Actually, what you see here, it's this corner.
No.
And it is a bit. Usually, such a kind of pieces are typical for the pre-production state of the game, for showing the general impression and mood for a certain location. But sure, sooner or later, I mean, when the production process begins, you'll be asked for something less beautiful but more definable, the level layout. So we'll go back to the production art, like this one, like this drawing. Less beautiful, but more useful.
Yeah, yeah.
In most of the cases, you need to make, but in most of the cases, you need. It's just you need to make in the future a bunch of different shots for the same locations. Showing the place from different angles and points of view. So it's well.
Yeah. So it's
If you make yes, if you make a rough 3D model based on your design later, you make your life much easier in the future.
Yeah.
And so here we have a different approach. The final design first, followed by the 3D model, because the previous slide was how to build the design on the 3D.
Yeah, now you're doing the opposite.
Yes, this is something done on the other way around. First the design, second the 3D model, just a different approach.
Yeah.
Okay. Review art, something which is existing in some art books already, something like this. This is almost never a result of the review art. It's never a result of a single iteration, single shots. On the production stage, the rough, sometimes ugly sketches are more important than having a finishing piece. This is where you sit down and discuss your design with the missions, level designers, and other guys from the team. Just needs to remember, any single piece you do with some purpose, not just to make something beautiful. And this is the proof. Yes, this is the final art, but actually this is something much more important, this kind of approach. You can do, yes, sometimes you can deliver a very ugly sketch like this. And this is something which is not visible in art books before to deliver the final vision. Yes.
Yeah.
But this is the way to give visibility to the guys. You can use kitchen napkins, whatever you want, piece of toilet paper if you want.
Just to show the idea.
Yes, so let's say basic drawing skills are somehow recommended. You need to be able to explain something without using photos, 3D models, or whatever. Additional tools. Yeah, same here. First iteration before to get to the final design.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see all this stuff because I always feel that a lot of people forget that being a concept artist actually in the first place is a problem-solving job and not an artistic job. And
I couldn't say it better, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, I couldn't say it better. It was right on the target.
Yeah, because people get really obsessed with this rendering, and that's kind of the fault of, well, not really fault, but it's kind of because other people put their beautiful work out there because people like to look at shiny, beautiful rendered things. But again, like it's not only about that. You have to be able to communicate your ideas, to be able to talk about it, to be able to present it in a way that is clear and understandable, despite the rendering or drawing skills. Like, you're working on this thing together and you're solving a problem together, and sometimes
Exactly.
it's much better to, like you say, do a rough sketch to show something than to waste a day doing a beautiful render, but the idea is wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. And to prove it, do you know what is this? Okay. Okay.
Are they
I'll
for, like?
explain. This is something you cannot see on the internet usually. For keeping the game mechanics working and assuring the gameplay, the game designers build their levels with modules like this.
Okay.
So what you see here are the house's placeholders. And you as a concept artist have to suggest how to turn them into something better looking, without breaking the overall shape, without breaking the overall proportions, without breaking the metric system. By the way, such as task involved the majority of the concept art's time during the production. Yes, this is the results below. Using the same model system, you can see.
So is that to keep like the global shape and silhouette before you get into
and establish dimensions, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But okay, using placeholders. Another example. Just a rough 3D block. Designers dismiss for a certain building with just very rough textures. And okay, another process. You see, it's additional stage you discuss with the level designers or game designers or everybody, with 3D guys and everyone.
Yeah, so you just paint over it very initially to just show your
dropping pictures, whatever you do, making some side drawings, adding textures. This is another approach, yes. Another approach when you do production art inside the studio. I mean, it's the final render of the same object. But you don't you don't wait till this moment to show to the guys. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the moment you should start the discussion. Like this. And but actually the job is not over here, because once element like buildings, props are ready, the job is not done. What comes next is to suggest how they should be combined in order to achieve my composition and silhouettes. Here you go, some examples here with you see.
Yeah. So
this is the houses you saw before. Yes, just combined in different
different
configurations, something like this. I mean, this is a different aspect from the concept job art.
Yeah.
Working on the skyline or something else. And finally, but not at least, the concept artist is about to deliver values of color, weather, dent, night cycle strips. Unfortunately, the given examples here are an official art, but I hope soon we'll have the possibility to show some real production and examples from color and mood strips. Yes. And speaking about improving the levels, both of these pictures you see here are done on a ready game layout already. I'm seeing a ready game layout, and unfortunately I don't have it even here, or I'm not allowed to show you also to see before and after, but you're the one to improve the visual. I mean, you're passing through the ready levels and giving here and there some hints how to do, what to add, what not to add, and stuff like this.
So are you given like a 3D model or like a base render or something with a layout to work on, or?
the actual game layout. I mean,
Okay.
Okay.
the
And then
actual
paint over and set the lighting and
Everything.
Yeah, so you
weather
still
and
paint
everything.
adding elements, the mood,
Yeah.
and everything. This is also part of the job, also.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, in film we actually also just sometimes get screenshots from the film and we just do paint overs. Or even from
Exactly,
like
yes.
people from environment or lighting or something.
Yes,
Just
it's
do
not
paint
made
overs.
painting exactly, but it's close to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, and involved also a lot of conversation, discussion with the guys. You're not working alone.
Hmm.
Yes. I mean, the concept artists are spending, especially at certain moments of the project, are spending a lot of time in different kind of meetings and presentations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should be familiar with everything which goes with the game. I mean, you need to play the game at development stage even. Just need to be informed what's going on and how it's going on. And it's good to be familiar with the engine possibilities, what you can do and what you cannot do. Okay, you need to push a little bit, always a little bit further to give some challenge to the technical team, but they should be kind of realistic ones. I mean, this is very important also. And I think I'm over with this also, the third part, so we can
Okay. Yeah, that was very
sharing.
very cool to see. I hope people can get out of this what are some of the other responsibilities are of being a concept artist, and
Mm-hmm.
you really stress the fact that it's not just about creating pretty pictures. And actually, in my own experience, sometimes I've been hired because of the production work that I was able to show, and not because of any personal
Mhm.
stuff. Just because people want to see that you have this problem-solving capacity rather than this being an awesome painter capacity, because yeah, that's a lot of times more important or just as important. It's designer first and artist second, and being able to render things pretty is definitely a plus. And the more beautiful and appealing you can make it, the easier it will be for you to
Mhm.
sell something. But essentially the core idea is really the main thing, and if that's not there, you can polish it all you want. A polished turd is still a turd, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
In fact, what you do, it's not gonna appear directly on the game, you know.
yeah,
But the game could be a result of what you've done before.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Actually, this is the normal workflow.
Hmm.
I mean, you just cannot allow to think selfishly at certain moments.
So
Once I did this mistake also, so I mean, it's,
yeah, yeah.
I learned it the hard way.
That's why we're here. We're here to prevent other people from falling on their face. I mean, sometimes you have to. It's actually good to go to fall on your face sometimes, but yeah, it's also good to know some things before you make a mistake.
Yes.
Okay, I have some more specific question about coming up with your ideas, because we saw a lot of the environment design that you showed us, and basically how are you getting prepared to, how do you start with, and how do you gather reference, and what's your usual way of starting with coming up with original or interesting design for actual buildings or environment, or how do you proceed to do it? What's your way?
Okay, let's see. Last years I used to work on the AC series, which are purely historically based. I mean, the slogan is history. It's our playground.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no way to start without gathering a lot of just a giant amount of references.
Yeah.
This is the proper way, because you have the story, you have the locations, um, but you need to make everything believable. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so first you need to base your future work on the reality. I mean, there are a lot of existing landmarks, houses from the same period. you are just about to make a very, very huge research. This is the first step.
Yep.
But not to forget, this is a game. This is entertainment. I mean, sometimes the history, the purely historically accurate things are looking a little bit boring. So you are allowed to squeeze a little bit the history and reality in order to make better vision. I mean, something which the players will appreciate more, but needs to be very careful. I mean, yes. What I mean, there is always a place for creativity,
Yeah,
and you
for
should
some
apply
artistic
creativity.
freedom, right?
Yes, not to use directly what you see. And maybe I didn't answer the whole question, so maybe you can repeat it or just the part I didn't answer right now.
No, I think it's just, yeah, it's good what you told. It's like you don't want to ruin the historical part of, if the game is kind of historical, but you have to think about the gameplay, and if somehow the historical, vision or part not block the game somehow, and limit the fun from, that you can
Yes.
take from the game. So
Yeah, exactly.
cool.
I think it's very hard because, again, it's about finding this balance. Some people get very picky about historical accuracy or scientific
Yeah,
accuracy.
exactly.
And yeah, but of course, what people need to understand is that when you create something, you have to take some creative freedom or some liberties, so to speak, because otherwise
Yes,
things just
exactly.
wouldn't work. But you'll always have people who are not aware of this and who will say like, "Oh, that's not
I
correct."
mean, use everything which is around, be inspired by everything. This is also, but don't use it directly. Don't use it directly because doesn't make sense, let's say. And about the inspiration, also we are coming here to another very important question. It's about reinventing the wheel. No need to reinvent the wheel. So better collect, if you are not engineer or if you are not architect, you cannot make better architecture. I mean, or some engineer stuff. You cannot create better machine as an engineer. But if you use what the humanity had created already for centuries and build your art on it, you can make it very believable. I mean, it's about architecture, make stuff, whatever you want.
Yeah.
For example, before to start creating, let's say, tank, better check thousands of references. What's the logic? How is built? How every part works? Exactly, the logic.
The functionality of things, right? The understanding of it. So it's more
exactly.
about.
If you are going to produce something which is just, I don't know,
just pretty, right?
Yes, just pretty, but not believable, not on place.
Yeah, so basically we just go back to the same point, like we start working with colors, because at first we need to understand them, understand their relation, understand the functional of the colors and how the light, influence or have the impact on the colors and everything. This is the same with concept, right? We have to have some idea of and being aware of the working of the objects and the functionality of everything, and then we can just go farther and give some freedom to, artistic freedom, not to forget about the legacy of the objects, the legacy of the thing that we are creating, even if it's like futuristic stuff. So we have to be creative and believable in the same time.
Exactly. It's a very complex job, actually.
Yeah.
To be a concept artist.
Very challenging, enjoying.
Yes, and this, we are going actually to the start of our conversation, the difference between just being a good artist and being a good concept artist.
Yes.
And here where is the difference comes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
On that note, I would like to ask a question that kind of combines your first presentation and the second presentation. For the people who are watching, let's say you've shown in the second presentation what production art looks like and so forth, and in the first what people should do in their portfolio. How do you think that you should combine these things? Like, would you recommend people to create this kind of production art, even if they don't? If it's not from an existing project, and put in their portfolio just to show that they can think in this way?
Not really. I gave an example about showing the workflow.
Okay.
You can show some workflow, but not make it dominating one. You should put your best pictures. But if you proceed the way of my second presentation, actually, you're going to deliver much more believable stuff, not only in terms of visual. It will be visible that you've done the stuff following a certain development process. This is what we would like to see from the candidates, to see the relations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, put, for example, not just one tank, put 3 or 4 just to see the development, but make all of them pretty. Don't put rough sketches.
Okay.
And my advice for the guys is to start making, for example, if somebody'd like to make a spaceship, don't start and just to see what will happen finally. Okay, for example, I started here and it goes well, maybe I'll get something interesting here. Yeah, I had different idea, but look now what going so. I would like to recommend everyone just to take more time for idealization, to make more sketch, to develop what they do on this level, instead to jump directly to kind of beautiful art, just because they have the need to post every day something on Facebook, for example, just to be on the trend. It's.
And if you are working on something to prepare your portfolio, you have also more time to spend on your ideas, and you can make it, you can show the actual idea, but enclosed in very beautiful package or something. And it's also kind of, I think, that attracting the art directors and people that, and then they could ask, okay, it's good, but can you explain us, if you have some, interview or so, they could ask you, okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about the behind the scenes of this project or this idea, or how you come up with this, or how do you think you perceive the functional of this kind of picture. And basically, as you said, it's like putting the best picture in portfolio and then have some backup in case of they asking for more, or
Yeah, this is very, very important also to have some backup, because sometimes you could be asked to deliver something more just to show the
yes,
exactly. Like this. And it's always visible if you follow a certain development process, it's visible in your work. I mean, there is nothing random.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is the way the guys needs to start thinking if they'd like to become a concept artist. I mean, to work on this position. So because this is a job. First of all, this is a job, and somebody is going to pay salary for it. So it's
and as you said, and as Jonas said at the beginning, it's like they pay for solving the problems they cannot realize because they are not artists, or
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So Jonas, should we pick up any more questions from the chat, because I can see they're going.
Yeah, maybe let's do a couple more and then move on to the final presentation.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Check it. It's going to be shorter, the last one.
Yeah, so maybe the question about the software, because I can see a huge amount of the people are asking what's the real deal with the software, if they can only do a 2D art or the 3D art is very helpful, because we saw that you just gave us some examples with SketchUp models, and they are just a rough blocked in, and you can have the perspective of everything in one place. And we can see that our people who are really interested in what's the real deal with all the software, they should know it before to come to studio or just try to apply, or is it like they can draw pretty well and the 3D is only like some kind of speed up?
Knowing 3D, it's not a must,
Mm-hmm.
but helps. I mean, it's not a must. It's not something to decide to take or not to take one candidate just because he knows or he doesn't know 3D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a tool, yes.
Okay.
And speaking about the tools, everything is just tool. I saw yesterday, I watched yesterday one of the Jonas presentations for Level Up,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave a really amazing example how to use picture. And there was an amazing plugin for Photoshop. I think it was Photoshop, right? The perspective bit for making vanishing point.
Yeah.
So for making your perspective, you can use just pictures. You can draw by hand, whatever you want. I mean, it's only tools, but they helps.
So it's only the way of how do you proceed to create that kind of pictures, like
Exactly.
the environment, the architectural one. So
Yes.
you don't need to have the 3D node, but it's like you said, it's helpful, but it's not a must, right?
Yeah, it's there to make your life
helpful, but
easier.
it's not a must. Exactly. I mean, I have no problem to draw perspective lines. Sorry, just by hand or something pencil, whatever. But in this case, I really prefer to use 3D base because it saves a lot of. It makes the life easier. This is the reason.
Yeah.
But don't forget, this is only the tools, and before start using the tools, you have to be familiar how the perspective works, for example.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have it on your mind. You have to, create the pictures, and it's what you are getting more comfortable with. You can just start with, painting only, and then just learn from more 3D and incorporate it into your workflow. So it just makes you faster and more effective and more productive in some periods. So.
Yeah, just tools, and everything is allowed. You can do everything.
Yeah. There are no rules. The only rule is that there are no rules.
Yeah, exactly. The same with brushes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Why not? I mean, if you need to use, let's say, a certain kind of tree for a certain geographical area, why not to make brush with this tree instead every time just to drawing by hand or to put picture and to try to clean the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Pictures. So it's okay. I mean, using brushes is just another approach.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, first.
Maybe let's check for some more questions.
Yeah, there are more. So. Let's see. Okay, so someone asks, I mean, we've kind of answered it a little bit, but maybe we can just, go over it again. I wonder what skills I should have to apply to a game company in a foreign country. What kind of company should I try to apply first? What skills are most wanted, and what should I improve first?
Okay, it's
very general question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
a lot of questions.
Yes. Maybe if you are just looking for a job to start working as a concept artist, it's good not to miss any opportunity you have. But you have to be sure you can do the job. I mean, if you are purely cartoon oriented, you do nothing than cartoon characters or environment or something like this, it's not serious to apply for a studio who produces games like, for example, Medals of Honor or something like this, Call of Duty, for example. Yes. And this is why I said at the beginning there is no universal portfolio. there is no way to create it. For me, just don't miss the opportunity. I mean, you can collect priceless experience in whatever company you go to work. You can collect priceless experience working as a freelancer on whatever the project. So don't miss the opportunity. I mean, grab every
chance.
Every chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also about being honest to yourself. If someone asking
Yes.
for what he should improve, it's like asking yourself what I suck at, right? Or what should I improve with my,
Yeah.
skill set.
Yes, this is why I mentioned at the beginning to check carefully the company's portfolio to see
exactly.
what kind of games they're producing, what
I think it's important to give yourself a mission, I mean, like, this kind of question sounds to me like the person doesn't really have a goal specifically. It's just like, hey, what should I do? But the first thing you need to do is know what you want to go for in life, and then just do whatever you can to get there, That's the most efficient way of doing it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you need to sacrifice a lot of things to get there.
Yeah.
But this is the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Just remember, only the biggest professionals in the industry maybe have some choice between a few companies to go. And just if they have, offers on the same time from the few companies together.
Yeah.
There is one very interesting question. Maybe you covered it somehow, but Roberto Gatto Art asked, could you talk a bit about the best ways to develop your design sense? So what would you do to make your designs better? Maybe for the project that don't base on the history, or anything. Just basically the design sense, how to improve it, how to keep it going with better sense.
Fantastic questions, by the way. It's really fantastic. And fortunately, it's not easy to answer just with one sentence, let's say, a few words, because it's a very deep subject. First of all, I really think you need to observe all the time, to observe and to think, to analyze what you do, how we can do it better, to compare with other examples. Just not to live in your own bubble. Sometimes the truth hurts. I mean, many guys wouldn't like to get out of their bubbles, because jumping among the big guys, I mean, okay, let's say, sometimes they wouldn't like just to open their eyes, because the truth can smash them. For example, I'm working with some great artists, not only here but in Montreal, and every time I'm looking at their work, they're smashing me. Believe me, I can't believe how do they what they do so fast. The quality is so high, but you just need to accept the reality and to try to improve your own level. I mean, self-improvement. This is an endless process. Just be honest to yourself and observe a lot. Think, try, experiment with the things you are doing. Try to do something different. It's not about the techniques. I'm not talking about experimenting with different kind of brush approach or something. Try to develop your own idea. Try to upgrade your own ideas. This is the most important thing. Upgrading.
Awesome.
Yes. And yes, and also, unfortunately, this is another tool. Go back to your own work. Look it carefully, and just see. If you see something if you are not agree with something you did before, I mean, now looking back, you think you could do it, could be done better. This means you're growing up. This is okay. To be honest, I really hate my stuff I've done 2 years ago, because I think now I can do it better.
Yeah, and it's great because you are staying to self-critic to yourself and staying very honest to your stuff, to your skill set, and to the idea that you are developing, that your mind is, you know, growing, and then you realize, oh fuck, what did I do? So yeah, it's like this, being very critic, you know, sized to yourself and very honest.
The same. I'll give you immediately an example. Looking back now at the stuff I did for Racy Liberations, you can see a lot of straight lines there, just straight lines. And I was very proud making them using the shift key, you know. I want to kill myself now for this. But what I've done. I'm trying not to do the same right now.
Yeah.
So just a simple example, nothing more. I'd like to have my own art, let's say, more juicy for now and something like this.
Yeah.
So,
We are learning on the mistakes also. So.
Yeah, and don't be shaped by your mistake. Also, make connection. Send your stuff to other artists. Look for their opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, sometimes the truth hurts, but it's better than to think you are the best and there is nothing. Actually, you can learn for everything, for everybody, something new.
Yeah, that's exactly why we're doing this, actually, because, you know,
Exactly.
we're constantly being confronted.
For me,
yeah, it's like exchanging their, you know, the ideas and the knowledge. And I think right now I'm just, you know, getting a lot of knowledge from you, and it's like awesome because all of us can, you know, benefit from it. So yeah, it's like you said, making connection.
Yes, and we really need to ask to show your stuff to other guys because, you know, there is another truth. It's much easier to work on some other stuff to improve it, to show how to improve it, than to do this with your own stuff. Because when you're and this is why this one of the advices, guys, go back to your old stuff, look on it carefully, and just analyze what you could be done better.
Yeah, it's always painful.
And
it hurts.
Don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, there's nothing you can lose by asking. So.
Yeah, I mean, usually the professionals are busy, very busy guys sometimes, and maybe you cannot get answer with weeks, for example. But never mind. Send your questions. Are the guys. Don't forget. I mean, the game professionals, or okay, let's speak about not only the game but the movie game professionals. They're not kind of extraterrestrials. I mean, everybody has the same start. A little bit, yes. But all of us, we've started the same way, let's say.
Yeah.
So it's,
yeah.
Yes. This one.
All right. I think maybe we can move on to the last part.
The third one, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, we can have a look through the questions again.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, Eddie. Okay, you're sharing your screen. Okay, cool.
Okay. Have it now?
Yep.
Okay. So guys, now we'll go to one of the points mentioned on the first presentations, how to overcome the lack of experience. And one of the best way to do this is just start working on your own projects. So what we need for the beginning? Yeah, starting. We need a story and we need artistic vision. I would like to apologize, by the way, in advance because I'm using here a presentation slightly modified. I did for Sofia GDC a few months ago, but unfortunately I didn't have time to prepare a special one for you. So
it's fine. I mean,
I'd like to apologize for the guys
no.
maybe
You don't have to.
watched it already.
No need to worry. So
No. I mean, it's great that you're giving this information.
So we need the story. Pick up a ready story or create your own story, something that is in your heart, something you'd love to do, something you like to do. This is the moment. And let's say something example. word, fictional word, time period, 1914, 1918. There is a war. The game should be adventure explorer, maybe third person one. Artistic vision, okay. We are going to be inspired by the World War First stuff. On the other hand, we'd like to modify it a little bit this open vision.
Okay.
And having all of these conditions, this is something like should look the final. No, it's a little bit early for this. References. Take your time. Gather a lot of references. A lot of. You can take historical one pictures. You can get references from movies, like here you see.
Yeah.
Those gas mask dogs are crazy, by the way. I've never seen that.
Oh, really?
No, I
need to check. Yeah, there are for horse also.
That's
Looks
scary
unbelievable. It's German soldiers, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
No, everything here. Look at the design. Everything. It's very inspirable. Yes.
So basically, it just helps you to immerse into the world you want to create, right?
Yes. And what we have here are only 4 pictures, 5. But for making the final image, I've collected something maybe like 200 pictures just for one image. Use also movies. You know, a lot of guys, concept artists, visual effects artists, matte painters, they've spent a lot of time, historicals, to make this movie looking historically accurate, to give them mood, atmosphere, everything. So feel free to use what they've done already. Just be inspired. Don't start everything from the beginning. It's about reinventing the wheel. No need.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, put a task for everything you do. Here I choose to make a general visualization for a given location, city blah blah blah, enter enemy siege, play sport, season autumn, late afternoon. This is purely my decision. You can take whatever you like. And this is how the final image should look like. It's something done for the presentation. It's kind of dry, but I mean, we're going to look here about something, how it works, not on the image itself. So don't look on it, please. But let's say what the concept art should tell us. For example, one of the first things you should think is to make a nice silhouette, to make nice composition. Analyze this, even this way. Okay. The other thing you should think during your workflow, depth. You need to give the impression of, yes, you need to have. It's not only about foreground, middle ground, and background. It's about the depth. It's about the scale. To get the feeling how big is the map, for example. And speaking about the information, as I mentioned before, that you need to give information to the other teams. For example, for such a kind of picture, what you can extract, let's say, where are the enemy units? What's the density of the enemy units? What kind of obstacles you have here? You can help to identify the landmarks. I mean, high structures are going to be seen from a distance. You can help to the design team to show where the possible gameplay could be. Something like this, for example, maybe this is the only entries you need to jump into the truck or something like this. For example, this is the kind of information you can get besides of the mood and lighting, everything. This is the kind of information that the concept art tells about. And now, because I know a lot of people are interested of my working process, I'm not going to show nothing fancy or unseen, just few pictures one after another. Usually for big such situation like this, I really prefer to use a raw 3D. because give me helps me to identify the scale, for example, to put more interesting camera angle and everything. I can do it from scratch, but this one really helps. Really helps.
Yeah, it saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time. Yes, especially in case you need to do another few shots on the same locations. But please, just don't follow directly it's a very blocky. You see the straight lines and everything. I mean, proceeding ahead, you need to tell a story to get much more into the details. Okay, this drawing is made for a presentation. Let's hear I'm not so precise doing just sketching for myself, or it's a more presentational one. But for example, let's go back. Sorry. Let's say we have here a tank design. Put some more details based on the design. It's based on existed war machines from the same periods. Nothing directly, of course. Next step, just to apply the flat colors. I mean flat, nothing, but keeping the distance value. I mean, see, to define the plans. And this is actually the base I start working with colors. It's very simple. Just start adding shapes here. I'm still keeping the line layer on multiplying on top of everything. Switching on, switching off. Just adding some shading here. Proceeding with light. Working with light already to define where the light comes from. Here it's not so accurate, by the way. And this is the stage I'm applying some photo textures. Yeah, because I know there will be a lot of question about using photo textures. Yes, better use this. You know, guys, in the future, now the next generation consoles are here, like PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and everything becomes to look more real and more real and more real. And by the way, this is the next generation of the concept art. Probably will need more realistic looking vision. So don't hesitate to look to use pictures. Helpful too. And continue painting on this, and this is the final render. I mean,
awesome. So it shows that how you have this structured picture and how do you
it should be in shadow, like for example, it's a mistake, but it doesn't matter. Here the light comes not so correct, but I did it really on a hurry just for a presentation, so never mind. This picture has only presentational purpose.
Yeah, but you thought through a lot of the things, and the picture is like consistent and structured in the way you just did it from very initial blocking to the last detail, because you just thought through it before you start, right? And then you created the concept, the composition. You don't need to change after that, because sometimes people are mess up. I think that all of us sometimes that have kind of experience that they are working on something. Oh, I just need to correct it, and all the idea from the beginning just ruined somehow.
But I have to do the same very often, by the way, to change. The idea of this presentation was just to give a hint, the guys, how to think doing concept art, not just a beautiful picture. There are a lot of things they need to think in addition, instead of just thinking how to make it pretty. It should be informable. This is very important.
Yeah, what I find interesting about this is that it shows that because of the way that you've worked, you're actually, from one image, you're actually able to take a lot of things that you could then go into and focus on those. And like, for example, what's the exact design of that tank? What's the exact design of the roadblocks and obstacles? Like, there's a lot of elements that you can kind of zoom in and start developing.
Of course, you can do, and you should do, while in a production, separate concept art for all of these elements separately.
Yeah, exactly.
Design all kind of vehicles, props, everything. I've just put here a lot of stuff on one place just to show the consistency between the objects, I mean how they work with each other, and what kind of information you can extract from a concept artist like this.
Yeah, and we also showed how many things and issues you can just put on the one picture. So it's awesome.
Fully presentational. This is why. This is what, guys. Doing concept art. Think design, and design, information and design.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very important. Of course, there is nothing wrong with doing just some fast mood sketch. I mean, every single piece you do has a certain value and certain purpose. I mean, even the ugly, rough sketch, no need to put everything on one place. Don't try to do it. If you do, okay, fine, if you have the time. But it's not a must, I mean. But even working on a very single detail or prop or something, think about its usage. How will be placed on the work lately? And that's it.
I have the question because Eddie, we spoke before the session, and you just told me about art directing and how much you're kind of responsible for visual aspects of the production that we are working on. And can you maybe tell us what's the difference in terms of how much you paint as you are in a concept art, as you are an art director? What's the difference between the regular concept artist in your studio and your position, which is right now, and you have to manage other people and inspire them and provide them materials and everything? What's the difference in painting?
You just jumped in a very painful subject for me, believe me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, man.
Very painful.
Okay.
It's about the pre-production period. I mean, during the pre-production period, you have the time to sit together with the rest of the concept guys to produce own concept art, to make guiding directional concept art, just to point the general vision, mood, everything in the game. But once the production starts, first of all, you're spending a lot of time in a meeting room. Actually, the majority of your time you don't spend on your own desk. You're running between the meeting rooms, having meetings with the level mission designers, 3D guys, to see their weekly or daily progress or something like this. It's a complicated because usually usually a lot of studios are usually the Ubisoft projects are made in more than one studio, and a lot of studios the rest of the studios are abroad, I mean. So we need to have a lot of conf calls with them to communicate via emails, which it's much harder than to jump to the next desk and to have a few words with the guy working there to check his progress on everything.
Yeah, and there's the time zones as well, which can be...
Yes, it's very time consuming, unfortunately, this kind of communication, but there is no way. There is no way. And bank art director, you should need to think first about the game, not about what you're going to put in Facebook in a few months when you get permission to show your face. So from this point, this kind of you need to sacrifice your personal ego a little bit. Yes, but not to fuck up the work of the rest of the guys, because it's a big responsibility. And also, as I mentioned before, you're not the one. Okay, you can take the supreme decision, but you are not the one to do it, actually. This is not a good idea. You need to work together all the time with the rest of the art leads to take some decisions together.
Yeah.
And
so basically it's teamwork. So.
Yeah, it's a teamwork, and I'm spending a lot of, the majority of my time I'm spending not drawing on my place, just running between the guys. And Yes, okay. I'm finding some time to make art myself, but don't ask me what time I'm leaving the studio for doing this.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, of
Um,
course.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
yes, but it's a different every time. I mean, if the pre-production period is longer, you can afford a little bit more time for producing concept art. For the production period, it's not so easy, or you just need to produce very fast sketch and this kind of gardening. It's concept art, just very fast overpaint on the ready game levels at the stage they are. Um, to have a lot of chat with the rest of the concept artists to split the tasks between them also. Because this is not a managing position. I mean, as an art director, you're not a manager.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
you still need to,
It's,
get a lot of fix, under your wings, as I can say something like this. So, yeah. But you seem to be very
yeah,
excited and
definitely you draw less.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Let's see. I think
Let's check for some more questions.
I think we have to go back in time a little bit. Let's have a look. Okay, so someone's actually asking about your position as an art director, since we're talking about that right now. And it's basically, what important skills should you have to become an art director? Or maybe, if you want to elaborate more, like, what are the different skills beyond what you should know as a concept artist that you should need to have to be an art director?
Okay. You need definitely to have eye and vision, but this is common with the concept artist position, because if you're a senior concept artist, one of your duties is to support the direction of the game, to give ideas and everything. For being art director, one of the most important things, you should be able to give visually feedback. This was of the most important thing, on understandable and readable way, visual feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, also, when you are not agree with something, you just have to prove your decision to change something works better.
Right.
This is
Be able
very
to
important.
motivate it.
Not just, yes, you are not about, let's say I don't like this because it's green, not red.
Yeah, it's
You
not
need
your
to
taste.
prove why making red works better than leaving it green.
Yeah. So you're saying, like, you have to put your ego and your personal taste aside and always, like, think of the bigger picture, right?
Yes, actually, this is the difference. As art director, you need to have overview on the bigger picture, not on the personal, on the single place. This is the difference.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm trying to encourage everybody from the team. For example, people just modeling trees or stones or barrels, just to see how what they do looks placed on the game world. It's very important to see. I mean, not to just like to work on something, having no idea what the other of the guys are doing and so on. It's a teamwork, but keeping the main picture. This is about being the art director.
Speaking of teamwork, I actually have a question for myself, if that's okay. How important do you think that your role as an art director is on the sort of morale and happiness and well-being of your artists? Or what would you do to keep your team happy? Like, how important do you think it is? Because I've seen in my personal experience that it has a huge impact. What art directors, well, in film it's a little bit different than in games, because in games the art director is like the main figure. In film it's usually the production designer, because there are several art directors working beneath him. But I think it's similar because you're running an art department or a concept art team, and I've noticed that it's hugely important, in my opinion, I think, to keep the morale of the people up and to know how to communicate with them on a human level, so that they may be more inspired and more productive. So what do you think about that?
It's brilliant questions, and you have no idea how important it is, especially when you need to develop a game in a short term, and especially when you work on a AAA game where the expectations are really huge. I mean, everybody from the team it's almost overloaded.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everybody from the team bears huge responsibility for what he's doing. So I'm not talking just to be polite with the people or something like this. You need to be very careful with your decisions, because if you take 2 or 3 wrong decisions one after another, and they need to redo their job what they are doing 2 or 3 times in that, this is definitely not the way to keep the morale high.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to stand behind your decision first, and to make the guys to be sure that what they are doing is the right thing. Means you need to work very closely with the guys. We need to listen to the guys also. I mean, because every single
opinion matters, right?
Yes, every single opinion matters. You have to have the ability to listen also, not only to speak.
Yeah.
Speak is great, but you need to listen, and also you need to respect everything what they are doing, everything. Even you think could be much better, you're not going just to say, what the fuck are you doing? It's a shitty.
Yeah.
Yes. Sit down and you can just suggest, let's say, can we improve this a little bit more? What about doing this a little bit different way? It's not always easy because sometimes the pressure is too much, everybody's nervous, but as art director, you really need to
take care of your team.
For keeping the teams.
Yeah, so basically...
But sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay.
Appreciating the team's work, I mean, this is really what make the guys happy. This is the most important.
And I think it's hugely important because at the end of the day, it is, you know, we're humans and it's a collaborative thing between people. You know, it's a thing that we do together as people, and the sort of well-being of you as a group, like as an art department or a concept art team, is so hugely important, and it so directly influences the quality and the efficiency at which you work, I think. I mean, like, when I'm asked to do version 65 of the same thing, like, I'm burned out. You know,
exactly.
My head is just, I'm just wasting time. I'm not thinking clear anymore because I've been doing the same thing. So then it's actually, I think, the responsibility of the person above me to say, like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, how do you feel about it? Do you still want to do it? Maybe I should pass it on to someone else so he has a fresh look. Or, you know, like, I think this communication is hugely important, because if you just ignore how people feel and you're only thinking about, like, okay, we need to get this stuff out, you need to work hard, you need to get these deadlines, then yeah, you're ignoring the human aspect of the whole production, and you're forgetting that we are not machines, you know.
Exactly. And you really need to have this in mind.
Yeah, so basically counting with other opinions and, you know, fresh minds, as you already mentioned. And it also takes me to another question from me, if you don't mind. How do you deal with all that pressure and the stress is coming on your shoulders? Like, you know, you are doing some sport, or how do you just, you know, refresh your mind, refresh your body and everything?
Oh, I'm crazy about windsurfing and skiing, man. Awesome. I really would like to dedicate every free second I have for windsurfing and skiing.
Nice.
Yes. This is the way, because just sitting on one chair doesn't work. You need to completely refresh your mind.
Of course.
To reload the battery sometime. I mean, well, I skipped, I really sacrificed part of my outdoor activities during the last 2 years. And I'm really trying to get in back now.
Back on the road.
Back on the road. It's very important.
Okay.
not only in terms of physical health, but I think in terms of inspiration as well. Like I always feel really refreshed when I'm after I've traveled. I've got like this whole load of new inspiration.
Also, yes.
And
Also.
it's a clean source of inspiration. You know, it's unfiltered. It's like directly from the source and not from going on ArtStation or DeviantArt and looking at other people and getting. Like,
No. Listen, talking about the inspiration, I think the nature is the greatest inspirator ever.
Yeah, it always will be.
There is no way to be inspired like to be inspired by the nature.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changes every second there. It's beautiful, just.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a constant inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so guys, get out there. Stop drawing. Get out of your house.
Yeah, refresh your mind.
No. Sometimes you really need to do this. Sometimes you really need to do this. I mean, try not to. A few weeks ago, I managed to survive without internet for 2 weeks. It was unbelievable.
Must have been amazing.
Yeah.
Huge.
Like, wow, it was possible.
It's like
I did it. I was in Greece for windsurfing, and on the second day, because I had something to do beside, I opened my notebook and said, okay, I'm going to draw now for 1 hour. Mm-hmm. And maybe 15 minutes later, I realized the idea wasn't good at all. Just put everything on bed, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not about forcing yourself.
Yeah, and actually,
be human being.
Yeah. But it's also like, I mean, we tell people a lot, like, okay, you have to get the mileage and you have to draw all the time, and people think like, okay, if I'm not drawing, I'm wasting time, and I'm not getting better. But actually, I feel that sometimes by not drawing, you're also getting better by just putting your mind into something else and then coming back and be completely refreshed.
There is explanation about this.
Okay.
If you're working on a row without having any rest, nothing, you're just repeating the same mistake again, and again. This is why sometimes you need to refresh, to look back at something you did, something a week, 1 year ago, or something like this. This helps.
Yeah, with having
just working. It's equal to repeat the same mistakes again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your brain just gets stuck in a loop, basically.
Exactly. Okay, sometimes you just don't have a choice. You need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
To work for let's say months uninterrupted without having day off or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, this is one of my secrets to survive in very tough moments like this. I know there will be a moment. I mean, I will have some rest, and in 2 days I forgot everything. I mean, the tough period will be behind me. So in a very tough moments, I'm trying to think positive way about the possible rest or vacation I'm going to have in a certain time or something like this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it's perfect attitude that you have, and seeing that.
Trying at least it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. It's also, I think, the matter of learning it during your artistic process and improving during your career.
Because, just your life in general, I would say.
Yeah, because at the beginnings, I bet many of us just overworked ourselves, and put too much everything. You just know something about it, that you are very tired, you're working so hard, and sometimes it's like you said, it's just getting a refresh, just reset your mind, reset everything, and it really helps. It's just it's like you are jumping into the new body, and you are starting with fresh ideas. So it's like indispensable sometimes to just break and slow down a little bit.
Someone in the chat says, right now I'm in South Africa under the stars.
Oh,
lucky bastard.
I envy him. It's all up under the skies. That's great, really.
Yeah.
So guys, I think we're 2 hours in, so we can probably start rounding up. It's been really informative. Thank you so much, Eddie, for for
No, I
sharing
would
your
like to
knowledge.
thank you again for having me. It was really pleasure for me.
Yeah, man, it was the pleasure for us. Believe us, it's like that kind of non-demo present, like non-demo session with a lot of insights, a lot of amazing talk, and yeah, you just seem to be amazing guy. So it's perfect, connection, everything. So yeah, we are very grateful to have you today, and we really hope that people liked it, and we'll be back many times to this video, because I think that a lot of very informative knowledge is in here right now, and it's like
Yeah, direct,
Thank you.
applicable knowledge. Yeah.
yeah.
I would like also to repeat something I said from the beginning. It wasn't personal about me, but now it's personal about me. Guys, I'm replying always. I'm trying to reply always to emails, message, whatever.
Okay.
In most of the cases, I'm not able to do it at the moment. Maybe I can late my answer with even 1, 2, 3 weeks, but I will always try to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
if somebody has questions or just like to send me something,
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool.
Or if someone just have a question at what the brush should I use to be a concept artist, so you can just avoid it. And yeah, so.
So
yeah.
Eddie, it would be really cool if you could share the presentation PDFs with us, and if that's okay with you, and then we would.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
I'll send you everything. Just
yeah, we will
the
just.
session. You just point me the way to send you. And
Awesome.
Yeah, great.
So,
we can talk about it after the session. One more question. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt you, Darek, but
Yeah,
there's
okay,
one more important question that we have to ask.
Oh
And
yeah, of course.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to apologize because last week we forgot to ask Emmanuel our token question, but we'll get an answer for you. So Eddie, if you had to choose, would you rather be Godzilla or a billionaire? And why?
Okay, I've imagined thousands of times I've been a powerful animal or something like this.
Really?
But to be honest, billionaire, it's the answer, because maybe I have the idea what to do with my life if I'm billionaire. I imagine a lot of windsurfing, for example.
Some very expensive.
I'm not sure about.
I think you would just
um,
design the whole park of for windsurfers and like
Something like this.
future looking.
Surfboard
I have-
made of solid gold.
Yeah.
this is the reason, because I really not so sure about how it's about being a Godzilla. So it's a billionaire.
Yeah, it's
Right.
hard to imagine, right?
Yeah, it's like a perfect explanation.
Yes.
Perfect
I have some
explanation.
ideas how to proceed if I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, it's a good subject for some concept artists, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's it. Let me just tell you guys just a few more things about Level Up. So before we round up, so guys, if you enjoyed the session, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our website, fusroda.com. Check out our Facebook group. Everything is on the website. Check out the Google Hangouts. They've been successful. There are people in at least 1 or 2 Hangouts every day, all the time. Share your screen, talk to each other. You can also just be quiet and creepy like most people, but that's fine. We don't mind. Join the community, tell your friends about it, etc., etc. You've heard it all before, but I have to repeat it. And
keep the word spreading, and once again check out the Eddie Bennun works, because they are amazing. And say once again thank you in the chat to him, because it was one of I think it was the most informative session. Don't just be fair.
I would like to thank everybody for coming, also for joining us.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. So thank you very much once again. Thanks, Jonas, and see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Thanks, Wojtek.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
See you guys.
Bye bye.